Canistracci here. I'm back, and I'm here to talk about the latest album. The latest album from the Alice Cooper Band. Yes, band. This might confuse some people. I don't think it's going to confuse anyone in the RMCP Army or a good chunk of my subscribers. But it's going to confuse some people because they're like, hey, Alice Cooper, isn't he just like one dude, a singular, awesome dude? Yes and no. Yes, Alice Cooper is indeed Alice Cooper. And yes, he is a singular dude. But he was originally in a band also called Alice Cooper. Yes. The band was called Alice Cooper in the early 70s. That's when he did a lot of his classic hits. Songs like School's Out and No More Mr. Nice Guy were with that band, Alice Cooper. But it just so happened that the singer was also named Alice Cooper. His stage name anyway, it's not his real name. So when the band broke up, Alice, being a smart man, said, hey, I'll release a bunch of solo albums and I'll still use that name, Alice Cooper, and no one will know the difference. And many people didn't. He just continued. Didn't miss a step. I'm sure the band were a little annoyed by that, but what can you do? What can you do? They all agreed to it. They all agreed to the fact that this singer had the same name as the band. It'd be like if Paul McCartney was named the Beatles, and then after the Beatles broke up, got to keep releasing albums called The Beatles. Yeah, that would annoy the other Beatles, but what can you do if you agreed to it? You agreed to it, bozos! So Alice laughed all the way to the fucking bank. But he's also a top-notch gentleman. Top-notch gentleman doesn't forget his rock and roll bros back in the day. I mean, maybe he did for a few decades. But he's not forgetting them these days. He's been using these guys from the Alice Cooper Band on periodic albums for like the past 10 years or so. However, and here's the rub, if you're waiting for a rub, and I know you probably are, because you're sick people. Anyway, so here's the rub. The rub is we'd only get a song here and there, and with the exception of I'll Bite Your Face Off, which is a great song on an otherwise pretty crappy album called Welcome to My Nightmare. For the most part, it wasn't that great. I do like some of the stuff they did on Detroit Stories. I thought some of the songs they did on Detroit Stories, but for the most part, that was an Alice Cooper solo album, and they were just there to help him with some of his songs. And the same with Paranormal. So it's always been a tease. We've been getting this tease now for about 10 or 15 years that the Alice Cooper Band, the original Alice Cooper Band, would get back together and do a full-fledged reunion album. Well, that day has finally come, my friends. Yeah, so this is the first official Alice Cooper Band album since 1973's Muscle of Love. So that's a long time. I don't want to do the math. It's late. I've been drinking some Sapporos. So this is the first Alice Cooper Band album since Muscle of Love. And they're using their producer, Bob Ezrin. Yes, that coke fiend, Bob Ezrin. And, Alice has been using Bob Ezrin as a producer for like over a decade now. Out of the gate, I'm going to tell you right now that this is definitely the best Alice Cooper Band album since Muscle of Love. Yeah, the best Alice Cooper Band album since Muscle of Love. Okay, if you've been paying attention, you get the joke there. Although I'm not joking. I think Muscle of Love's a little bit better. Only a little bit better. More on that later. The band, the Alice Cooper Band, did not do any albums between Muscle of Love and The Revenge of Alice Cooper. They didn't do any others. So that's the joke. That's the joke. Let me spell it out to you. Okay, well, you know what? Let's say just for argument's sake, even though this is kind of cheating, let's compare it to Alice Cooper solo albums as well. It's fair enough. The band's name, Alice Cooper, he's the lead singer. He's a co-songwriter. All right, I feel like a lot of people are going to be thinking of this in terms of Alice Cooper's overall discography. Fair enough. So let's go there. If I'm comparing this album to everything Alice Cooper released, everything, starting with the Alice Cooper Band, Pretty's For You, all the way to Road, every album, that's several decades. I don't want to do the math. Again, I've been drinking. So, this new album, The Revenge of Alice Cooper, is the best album that Alice Cooper, just as an artist in general, has released since Muscle of Love! That's the way, I like it. Yes, I still think this is the best Alice Cooper album since Muscle of Love. And I love a lot of solo Alice Cooper albums, so I'm just impressed that it's better than Dirty Diamonds. Don't get me wrong, Dirty Diamonds is great. This isn't like so much better than Dirty Diamonds, but I give it an edge. Yeah, you might think I'm crazy. But listen, I've been listening to this album for nights now. Nights and days. Days and nights. Both. Even one time during the sunset. So it was kind of in the middle. It's kind of in the middle between day and night. It's not a perfect album, not gonna lie. It's a little overlong, and there's a few tracks that I think sound too much like solo Alice Cooper with the Alice Cooper band playing with him rather than purely Alice Cooper band songs. And I will discuss them. I don't think they're bad songs, but I just feel like they upset the flow and vibe of the album a little bit. Like, I feel like there's a perfect 10-song Alice Cooper band reunion album here that has been blown out to a 14-track album that have some songs that sound like they could have been on more recent Alice Cooper albums. So let's get into this. Let's get into this album that, if you didn't figure out yet, I love. I love The Revenge of Alice Cooper. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's the best Alice Cooper album since Muscle of Love. How could it not be awesome? First track, Black Mamba. The Black Mamba is a very dangerous snake. At least that's what I've heard. Let's see what the AI has to say. Let's just send me the Wikipedia. Lazy AI, lazy. It just literally just gave me the link to Wikipedia. You people that are so scared of AI, I'm not impressed. Yeah, I could have went to Wikipedia as well, AI. Anyway, yeah, I'm right. It's a dangerous, poisonous black snake. Anyway, Alice Cooper has done this before. I don't know if you know this, but snakes are phallic symbols. Yes, they are like penises, and they're dangerous. So a dangerous penis-like creature creeping into your room is both sexual and frightening. And that describes this song. Sexual, scary, freaky. I love it. It sounds like classic Alice Cooper. Classic Alice Cooper band. It slides in that bass. And by the way, I should probably tell you the names of the guys in the Alice Cooper band. All right. Well, first there's Alice Cooper, the singer. I told you about that whole story, that whole hustle he has going. And then we got Michael Bruce, the rhythm guitarist, and he sometimes plays some keyboards. Then we got Dennis Dunaway. Awesome bassist. One of my favorite bassists. He really shines on this album, too. Great bassist. Neil Smith. Great drummer. The drummer for the Alice Cooper band. He's playing on this, too. They're great. The only guy from the Alice Cooper band who's not on this album is the late and great Glenn Buxton. R.I.P. Awesome guitarist. One of the greatest lead guitarists ever, in my opinion. I love his gonzo, frantic, psychedelic, spastic guitar soloing. Awesome. But unfortunately, he passed away. He passed away in the mid-90s, I believe 1997. And so, unfortunately, he could not be part of this reunion. However, they do have one track. They do have one track that features his lead guitar playing, which is awesome that they were able to do that. And I will talk about that when we get to the track. That is the core band. They also have two guys who I'm not familiar with, and they did not have Wikipedia links. And I'm probably going to mispronounce their names, so apologies, guys, that did some really great lead guitar work on this. They were essentially doing the job of the late Glenn Buxton here. And that is a Gassi House. Is that how you say it? House? Gassi House, lead guitar. And then there's Rick Tedesco, lead guitar. Hey, I mispronounce my own name sometimes. But anyway, these guys did a great job. And also, Robbie Krieger on this first track, Black Mamba. Yeah, Robbie Krieger of The Doors is playing lead guitar in Black Mamba. How awesome is that? When I first heard it, I wasn't entirely sold on the ya chorus, but it quickly grew on me. I love it now. It's so weird, and it kind of captures the sneaky psychology of a Black Mamba. Like, it just feels sneaky. Like a snake, it wouldn't be thinking lyrics. It would be thinking, ya. It's primal and weird. And that's the kind of weird gonzo turn. Yeah, I'm going to say gonzo quite a bit in this video. It's the kind of weird gonzo turn that makes the Alice Cooper band the Alice Cooper band. And I love it. It's a great opening song, and it was the first single released. And I was excited as soon as I heard this single. Then we get to Wild Ones, the second track. A good song, a really good song. I like it. It's a good rockin', upbeat song. I like going into a charging, upbeat song after the slower, sneakier Black Mamba. However, this is one of the songs that I think sounds more like a more recent solo Alice Cooper song with just band playing. Like, it is the Alice Cooper band playing on it, but it just sounds a little too modern. You know, I mean, the whole album has I guess to a degree, a modern sounding production. But a few songs, there's like 3 or 4 songs on this album that just, even in terms of the arrangements and the way they're playing the guitars, they're just a little too modern sounding. And to me, they upset a little bit of that cool 70s psychedelic hard rock flow that you started with Black Mamba and that you have with a majority of the songs on this album. But Wild Ones, if this was like on road, this would be the best song on road. I didn't dislike that album, but there wasn't one song as good as this song. So I do like the track. Again, it's just one of the songs that I think doesn't entirely sound like classic Alice Cooper band. Then we got this next one. Oh, this one, Up All Night. Up All Night. Okay, this was the only time on the album where I was a little concerned, all right? Because this is like now 2 songs in a row that to me sound like Alice Cooper solo, but with the Alice Cooper band playing, especially this one. I mean, this one sounds like it totally could have been on road. And it wouldn't be the best song on road, all right? This is probably, I would say this is I'm looking at this. Yeah, this is the worst song on the album. It's not bad. It's not bad. It'd be like an average song on road. So an average song on road somehow got on this great Alice Cooper band album. I can kind of get behind it, but I was thinking, this is not what I want. This is not what I want from the Alice Cooper band. But then they start to slowly get back there again with Kill the Flies. Kill the Flies is this another sneaky, creepy kind of song. Kind of straddles the line from solo Alice to Alice Cooper band. Like, it sounds like it could be on an Alice Cooper band album, but also sounds a little like it could be on Welcome to My Nightmare, but it's still close enough. It still sounds 70s. It sounds like a 70s style Alice Cooper song. It's bringing in, the mental Alice, which I like. So it's all right. It's not one of the better songs on the album, but at least it kind of returned to the proper aesthetic, in my opinion. But then things really pick up. Things really pick up with One Night Stand. God damn, do I love this song. One Night Stand, one of my favorite songs on the album. I don't know, this might be my 3rd favorite song on the album. I think it's great. Now, this totally sounds like Alice Cooper band. This sounds like an Alice Cooper band song. It's all trippy, gonzo, rockabilly. Alice, who sounds amazing throughout this album. These are some of his best vocals he's done in years. This man is 77, and he's singing his heart out on this album. He's doing that cool Jim Morrison influence style singing like he did on Desperado and Killer. He's singing that way. It's very Jim Morrison, and the guitar works great, and it's just got this cool after hours rockabilly vibe. It's like a serial killer having a one night stand. That's what the lyrics sound like. And so lyrically, aesthetically, musically, vocally, everyly, it is awesome. And like, this is more what I want to hear. And then we get to my favorite song on the album. And this is like what I really wanted to hear. Blood on the Sun. God damn, is this song great. Now, this is a full-fledged psychedelic epic. Yeah, hard rock, working class hard rock psychedelic epic like the Alice Cooper band used to do, and Blue Oyster Cult and bands like that. I love it. This is like totally like Halo of Flies, which is my favorite Alice Cooper band song. It's not quite on that level. Very few songs are on the level of Halo of Flies, but hey, it's in the ballpark. It's like a song like that song. Even without the great Glenn Buxton, these guys that came in, whose names I probably murdered, they're doing a great job. I love all the lead guitar work and the way the band just moves and shifts. This music in the middle section, when it's all just music, it's never boring. It's always very interesting to listen to, and they take you places. And then when it comes back triumphantly to Alice singing again, man, it's just this great spirited, moving, hard rock and psychedelic rock song in 2025. Created by old men in their 70s, and they're fucking kicking ass. Take that, younger generations. Take that. I would describe this as gonzo rock and roll for super studs. Then we have, oh god, this fucking song. Crap that gets in the way of your dreams. I like the title. I got mixed feelings about this song. All right. Part of me really likes it. It's a fun, dumb Alice Cooper solo type song. Like, this is the kind of Alice Cooper solo song that sometimes I like. I like Thrill My Gorilla. I like some of these stupid Alice Cooper songs sometimes. And this has a fun, snotty, punky vibe. Like, I could hear this being on like a Blackout era album, or maybe The Eyes of Alice Cooper, or Detroit Stories. Like, it just has a kind of punky vibe to it. The lyrics are funny, and I dig it. It's not bad. But again, it's one of these songs that definitely sounds like solo Alice Cooper, especially coming after Blood in the Sun. It upsets the vibe, and I just kind of wish they held off on a few of these songs and maybe make a little EP or I don't know, something. They're not bad. I just like there's like a real 70s style album here, and this shit kind of upsets it sometimes. So I get a little annoyed by these songs. And then, well, here's another one. Okay, Famous Face. Famous Face, maybe if they played the guitars different and the production was a little different, this one could have been maybe like a 70s style Alice Cooper song. In fact, it actually has Michael Bruce doing lead vocals. And it's not a bad song, but it sounds like a kind of 80s early 90s style Alice Cooper song. It's hard rock and almost like something that could have been on like Hey Stupid. But it'd be one of the better songs on Hey Stupid. It's a good song. And I will say that middle section is pure Alice Cooper band. You know, even if it's these lead guitarists that are coming in whose names I murdered, it has that vibe. It has that Billion Dollar Baby vibe in that middle section. And I love that. And that's the thing. Even the songs like this song and Wild Ones that have more of an Alice Cooper solo vibe, this band and these other talented guitarists that are coming in and helping them, this band elevates the material, in my opinion. Makes it a little livelier, a little more interesting. It's a good song, but it's another song I wish they kind of would have left for something else because it sounds a little too post-70s to be true Alice Cooper band. But now we get to a song that does sound like the Alice Cooper band. It's a poppy song, but it sounds like the Alice Cooper band being poppy, which they were sometimes. And that song is Money Screams. Love this song. Love Money Screams. Money Screams might be my third favorite song. I don't know if I already said I had a third favorite song. You know, this is still a relatively new album for me. I don't know exactly. I just know Blood in the Sun is my favorite. But this is in the top 5. I love it. This is so catchy. Such a great hook, great melodies. And I'll tell you this, I got choked up. I got choked up 3 times during this album. First was during Blood in the Sun because it was exactly what I wanted to hear. So I was like, yes. And I got a little emotional. And then with this song, the way Alice was singing, especially in the verses, that was like so classic early to mid 70s Alice Cooper. The way he sings with so much depth and melodic richness and such a likability. I'd say a working class Midwestern likability that you're just behind Alice and he's singing this song and you're just like totally behind him. It was just so catchy and melodic and he just sounds so great that I got a little choked up. I was like, yeah, Alice is fucking doing it. This would have been the single if it was released in the 70s. And it even makes a callback to Billion Dollar Babies. And I love the lyrics. They're sardonic. They're fun. The song's catchy. It's got swagger. It's great. This is what rock and roll's about. This is gonzo rock and roll for super studs. And then we just keep on going from this point. Like from this stretch on, it's all Alice Cooper band. What a Sid. I don't even know what that is. That's Sid Barrett? I don't know. What a Sid. What a Sid. It's a jazzy, weird, quirky little song. And, you know, Alice, even in his solo career, has done songs like this here and there. But this is done in the style of the Alice Cooper band. Like, it sounds like the Alice Cooper band playing a song like that. Like, it has that Frank Zappa influence. Like, it sounds like really early Alice Cooper band where they had some of that Zappa influence. And it's jazzy, it's quirky, it has witty lyrics. I love this song. I'd say it's like a mid-tier song on this album, but it totally has an Alice Cooper band vibe, and I dig it. Then we have the great Intergalactic Vagabond Blues, which is also more gonzo rock and roll for super studs. I love this song. Maybe just breaks the top 5. I don't know. Maybe it's like my 6th favorite song. I don't know. It's great, though. I know some people might have wished that this Alice Cooper reunion album leaned more on the darker side or a little more on the psychedelic side, not so much on the rock and rolly side. I already know that there's going to be some metalheads that this album's a little too rock and rolly for, but I don't mind. I love rock and roll. And this isn't boring by numbers rock and roll. This is loose, free, gonzo super stud rock and roll. I love it. The guitar works great. Yeah, it's got a little splash of that rockabilly feel, but also vaguely psychedelic. And that's the thing. Like Blue Oyster Cult, Alice Cooper band was vaguely psychedelic. They weren't a full-on psychedelic band. A lot of their shit was rock and rolly, but it was a mixture. It was like, here's a rock and roll party, but might go into a weird direction here and there. A few curveballs here and there. And that's what this album's like for the most part. Anyway, great song, great upbeat track. Dig it. What Happened to You? This is the song that actually has Glenn Buxton on it. Yeah, and you know right away what guitar is Glenn Buxton. It's right in the beginning. You can hear it. It's like this cool sounding wonka 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 sounding guitar. It sounds like just some kind of cool noodling he must have been doing in the 90s or something. I don't know how they got this. I don't know the whole story. If you know, please tell me in the comments section. But they got this track and then they kind of made a whole song around it where it's just a good high energy hard rock song. It's got some cool piano in it and it's a great track. And just the fact that there's a bit of Buxton in it, giving that vibe, giving that little splashy psychedelic vibe that he does. I love it. And then we get to what I think is the sleeper fucking gem of the album. Yeah, this is another one that definitely breaks my top 5. I think this might be my second favorite song on it. I Ain't Done Wrong. Now, this is a cover. This is a cover of the Yardbirds. But A, I'm a big Yardbirds fan. And B, they play the fuck out of it. This is great. I mean, I love the Yardbirds original version, but this is even better. Yeah, I was so impressed with this. They really make this song their own while still paying tribute to the Yardbirds. I think this is the best Yardbirds cover I've heard since Think About It by Aerosmith. Like, this is really great. Neil Smith is like, man, this guy, like, how old is fucking Neil Smith now? I know he's got to be in his 70s, maybe older. And he's playing this so in the pocket. And the whole band, they sound great. And they even do the classic Yardbirds rave up. They rave it up. And the way they play it, it's impeccable. And Alice's vocals are great. And it's like, this is the roots. This is what it's about. This is like what Aerosmith, you know, and bands like that, they love the Yardbirds. And I think it's a perfect second to last track to have on this album. To do a cover of one of their biggest influences and to do it justice and arguably make it better. I think it's even better. I love it. One of the best Yardbirds covers ever, and they fucking kill it. And then the last song, when I saw the track listing for this, I thought to myself, are they covering the Ozzy Osbourne song, See You on the Other Side? Like, did they, because Ozzy tragically passed just last week, did they like quickly go to the studio and just knock this out and tagged it onto the album? The timeline was like, this album came out just a couple days after Ozzy died. So I didn't know if it was possible, but maybe. But then I looked at Wikipedia, the track listing, and I saw that the songwriters were the Alice Cooper Band. That this was an Alice Cooper Band original. And yes, indeed it is. It's an Alice Cooper Band original. It's got nothing to do with that song. It's just a weird, oddly appropriate and weird coincidence. But anyway, this is an original song and it's an amazing song. It's another one that maybe just makes my top 5. I don't know. It's great. I mean, it's a very moving song. This is another song I got a little choked up listening to. It's a beautiful song and a perfect song to go out on. And I'm guessing it's about Glenn Buxton. That's probably who they're singing about, which is an interesting parallel because I believe that Ozzy one is about Randy Rhoads. So I guess, they're both songs about lead guitarists that have died. Regardless, I mean, it could kind of be anyone. Like, it could also be retroactively about Ozzy as well, And obviously, I was thinking about Ozzy. How could I not be thinking about Ozzy while I was listening to these lyrics? Sung beautifully, written beautifully by one of Ozzy's peers, the great Alice Cooper. It's a majestic song. It has pageantry without being too try-hard. Like, it just sounds effortlessly dynamic, and it's a perfect way to end the album, and it's a great last sentiment. Like, if this is the last thing Alice Cooper, with the band or without the band, ever does, this is a great way to go out. It's a great last song. I love this album. I think it's great. Like I said, I feel like there are 4 songs that are a little too modern solo Alice Cooper sounding, and as it is, I think 14 songs is too much. I want a classic. Like, they should have just did 10 songs, in my opinion. They had 10 songs that sounded like Alice Cooper Band songs, and I even created a playlist. I'll throw it up at the end of the video, but I created a playlist of a reworked version of this album where it just has the 10 songs that I think sound like classic Alice Cooper Band songs. I put them pretty much the same order. I moved up Intergalactic Vagabond Blues to be the second track because I thought the second track should be an upbeat track. But everything else is more or less the track listing, but without those other songs. And it's perfect. It's 40 minutes. It's 10 tracks. I called it the 1974 version because it sounds like an album that could have been between Muscle of Love and Welcome to My Nightmare, like this lost last Alice Cooper Band album from 1974, and it totally sounds like that. Like if you listen to this version, and I suggest you do, make this playlist, which I'm going to throw up at the end of the video, you'll be like transported back to 1974, and then you'll realize that there was indeed a masterpiece within this great album. Yeah, it's a great album with a couple good songs that drag it down. You know it's a great album when even the songs that drag it down are good songs. But within it, there's a fucking masterpiece. Listen to that playlist and tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, tell me I'm wrong. To my face. To my face. This face. So that's my review. I love this album. I think it's great. The old dog's coming back and kicking ass and doing something better than you could have even imagined that they could do at this age and at this point in their life. But, you know, regardless of age, that's the thing. Regardless, Alice and the whole band, they just sound so great. They would sound great at any age. At any age. This is, overall, I'm answering that question. It is gonzo rock and roll for super studs. Yeah. Suck on that, bozos. I'm Eddie Canistracci, and I am out of here.